the moment. Inquiries, not any different. You still build inquiries the same way. But one of the things that you can do with inquiry is central office can now create inquiries at the central office level. So the idea being is that the board office can create an inquiry that might go out and ask for, show me all the students who have 10 or more absences so far this year. And they can share that inquiry with the schools. So the schools have a new, when they go to open inquiries, they can select, is it a central office inquiry or is it my own personal inquiry? So that's how that works with the inquiry. I'm just going to see, I don't think I can get in to your, no, I'm still denied. So unfortunately, I can't show inquiries within this video, but they aren't any different than they used to be. If it comes up here in the next few minutes, I'll add it to the session. Now the next part, oh, I did forget one thing on the student record before I move on to secondary schools and substitutions. If I go into a student record, a couple of the new tabs that are available, if this one's not a new tab, but it has a new flexibility to it, the Custom Fields tab. So what you see here on the Custom Fields tab is we now show, and I think this was the way it was before, there's the text fields, and then if you scroll down, there's the list fields. So one of the things that is available now with custom fields is there are central office custom fields and there are school custom fields. What I mean by central office custom fields, and those are the ones that have a C beside them as opposed to the S, which are school ones. The C ones can be set up by your division office because they want to collect this information across all schools. And that's the idea of them setting it up in central office, is to standardize it a little bit. And you'll see any that they've set up, and that'll be, as I say, indicated with a C. And they automatically push out to the schools. The school ones are still there. You can still create your own school list and text fields. And if I want to fill in the fields now, I just go in and I edit my custom fields. All of them together. So if I look down a little bit, I think one of the ones, there we go to 13, 14. One of the ones was dentist name was a board one. Just looking, sorry, I must have missed it. Dentist name. There it is, down at the bottom. So dentist name, and you'll see when you click on that field, up at the top right, it says it's centrally defined. Centrally defined fields, the school can't change the title or the length of the field or anything like that. Only central office can change it. But of course, you can use the field to enter your information. So yes, you could put the dentist name in here. But you could also, if this was a live school, I might suggest to them that you could have the contact type that was dentist. And you could put in the dentist with their own information on their tab. So you can still use the field, it's just that it's centrally defined, so you can't change its label, dentist name. And permission for photo, I think, was another one. So that's just a yes or no field by clicking or not clicking, and then you save your changes. So if it's an S, it means the school made up the field, and they can then make changes to its label or what you want to type in there, but central office fields, they can't change. All right, so that's what's new with list and text fields. Another thing that's new is the SAL tab. Actually, I think you had the SAL tab before, didn't you? Right, that's not new. That came out for all schools. So the SAL tab, pardon me, that's not new at all. And even though I see multimedia tab, that is a new feature, but I know Upper Grand isn't going to be using that right away. It's something they're going to add on in a little bit after they think about how they want to use it. The Assessments tab, that's a new feature with, I believe, in MapleWood. Did you see that before?
No, we did not.
What that'll be able to be used for, and it's something that has to be set up through central office, These could be your scores for centralized tests. So any provincial tests, like for instance the OSSS Black, can't say it, the literacy test, that could be tracked in here with their actual score if you wanted to. Now the schools can only see the information on the assessments tab. The central office does the whole setup and puts the tests in that they want to track. But one of the things that through the Connect Ed, the schools can, the teachers, if it was a provincial test that teachers scored, they can put the scores in through the Connect Ed. So the central office, the idea being that central office sets up the provincial tests or standardized tests. The office can see them. Teachers, if you give them the permissions, can put the scores in for the test for the students in their homerooms or classes. So this is where you would see the test and you would then see the information below, and it would be all the scores for that student and any test that that student wrote. So that's what can show on the Assessments tab. Now the next thing that I'll show you is this won't come into place for about a year from now for your schools because it's not a grandfathered thing. It will, when you transfer to New Year for the 14-15 school year, this is where you'll start to see the historical attendance and historical achievement be tracked. So you used to not be able to see the previous year's attendance or the previous year's marks, meaning report card marks. So here I'm on a secondary school, but even on an elementary school, they will have this new previous year's button, but again, it won't be there until you transfer next summer. So it only works from the moment you go enterprise onwards. You'll be able to go to, in a year from now, the previous years, and you'll be able to see the attendance history, the attendance details for that school year. And so in essence, what this would show you would be that school year you'd see the period attendance just like you see the register. Or if it was at the elementary school, you could see the homeroom attendance for morning and afternoon, and it would be all the days that the student missed school. So we won't show you the days specifically that they were in attendance, but we will show you all the days that they were not at school or they were late. So you can go to the attendance details. You'll be able to choose, when you're in September of 2014, you'll be able to choose the 13-14 year and see that historical attendance.
So are you suggesting then that in 6 years' time, you look back, you get look back and see all of those years, 2 years of attendance?
That's right. That's what you'll be able to do. So starting from this year forward, you'll be able, it will accumulate and it will add each transfer to New Year's historical information. So you'll be able to come in here and you'll be able to see the attendance details throughout every of the various years back until it'll start in the 13-14 will be your first. So you'll see all the other years. So just as you said, in 6 years from now, you'll have 6 various ones to choose from. Yeah. So it won't be necessary to have those CUME files on record because you'll be able, or to have the printed registers in the OSRs because you'll be able to view it online. Okay. So the next bit applies to just the secondary schools. The secondary schools, when it comes to doing the student's history now, is you don't have to create different codes all the time when you have courses that you want to count as something other than the category that it would originally be intended for. So an English that's not going to count as an English. So here on the History tab, I'm going to just expand this. We also expanded the information that shows on the History tab. So your schools might like maximizing the student's record now so they see more of the information at a time. here are all of my historical information and the category group that it's counting for. So one of the things that it will be suggested, I think, to the secondary schools is they may have to go through and check that the categories are right. So over time, it could be that your categories, because of the so many codes issue, there could be some issues with the categories. Don't be alarmed. It can easily be adjusted. And it will only come into play probably with courses they earned at other schools. So if you have students who earn credits at other schools, then you should be able, you might want to double check that they're counting the way you want. And if they're not, then you can easily fix it by editing the student's history. You can then edit the individual course. So you'll see that over here we can see what everything is counting for. There's a lot of new columns there. So the SHSM is displayed on there, the dual credits, all of it's all displayed. And if I needed to, here's a PLE. If I needed to change a PLE, well, let's come back to that. Maybe I want to change this MPM2D. Maybe I don't want it to count as the standard math. Then you edit the entry, and this screen is expanded now to allow for more flexibility. So here I have your date and month, the course code that we're using, the rest of it is all popping in, whether it was a PLAR or not, I can fill in. If it was a previous school, that's still available. But one of the things I can do now that you weren't able to do before is substitutions are much easier. You don't have to make all these new codes in your code file. If I want to change this just for this one student, that it doesn't count towards the category of mathematics, so here in the table you see what it's picking up from your codes table, and it's because it's set to automatically determine. If I uncheck that, then I can come down and check the different values required than the defaults. And this is where I could change any of the defaults, but it only will change it for this one student, James. So it's not changing it in the codes table, it's just changing it for James. So maybe I could change, let's keep it simple. I could change the category. So as long as someone has said it could count towards a math or a science, so I can say that it's going to count as science instead. And I can say that instead of it being regular, maybe he did it as an e-learning. So you can change any of these fields, even the attempted credit. So if you have a course that, I don't know, for some reason he got 2 credits instead of the standard 1, this would change it just for James, not in your table. Then when I save it, and I'm not sure if I have this math and science set up right, I probably needed to say both of them could apply. Oh, this is where I do the science. And I say okay. It may not let me. Oh, I think it did. There it goes. And so it's going to count as a science instead of a math. It overrode it. But it only overrode it for James. All right? And then back here, it'll recalculate. And now, if his science hadn't been fulfilled, it is now. Okay? So that's what it's done. And I can even see here, there's my math that I changed to a science. So that's how you can handle substitutions now without having to go to the codes file and put all of those in. Do make sure, do a double check over the next several weeks. If there's not a crisis or anything, just go through, make sure if they were earned at another school, possibly that the proper category is counting. And if it's not, or if you run into any complications, your support people are there to give you a hand with how to change it. One of the really nice features with the change of going to enterprise, it comes back to what I was saying before about the one student record. And as long as, let's say, a student takes a course over at another school, even though that's not their home school, they're taking the course over there, then that student, would they update the history